I'm gonna get real with you right now. I created this workout channel specifically to bring you effective 5-minute workouts that you can do anywhere in your busy life. But how did I get to this point? I'm gonna share with you my pregnancy story. We all have our own, and guess what? It is yours. Nobody can compare to it. It was hard for me because each one of us experienced pregnancy differently, from trying to conceive, the different trimesters we go through, thinking about your nursery, adjusting to life as a new mom, and from the emotions of planning over these 9 months, reading books, developing a birth plan. There's so much that goes into it, and you want it to be perfect, and guess what? It is totally out of your control. And that is exactly how I felt, because my story is mine. It is not yours. But I hope some of the things that I went through can help inspire you, because I felt alone during my pregnancy. Let me explain some of this, because I'm about to get real. I don't talk about this because I'm going to be honest with you. I did not like being pregnant. Not one bit. So I'm going to go back a few years ago. All right. My husband and I, we both met in college. We knew that we wanted to enjoy our 20s. We said, when we hit 30, then we will start to plan for a family. There's nothing against any of you that choose to have a baby in your 20s. It's just not something we wanted to do. We wanted to enjoy our life. We wanted to travel. We wanted to do as much as we could possibly do. And we were also renovating my husband's old farmhouse. It's been in the family for 150 years. And when I say reno, I say down to the studs, dust, everything. This is an old house, so we didn't even know what we would find in the walls. And I did not want to bring a baby into that. I said, I want to have a kitchen and I want to be able to have a bathroom. That is not selfish. That is reality. And that is what we chose. I was also told that you don't want a baby in your 30s. You're not going to have the energy. You want to have it in the 20s when you have your energy. So you already have all of this negative thinking going into your head. Am I making a mistake by having it later? But I want to tell you, it is you that's having the baby, not anybody else. So you need to be comfortable with the decisions that you make. So like I said, I enjoyed my 20s. I graduated college. I was a professional cheerleader for 2 teams. I wanted to live out that reality, and I did. Would I have been able to do that with a baby? Absolutely. Some of the girls on the team had a baby and they came back. They had it in their early 20s, mid 20s, and they came back. So absolutely. But no, I enjoyed it. I had a blast. I put so much work into my body that when I was done being a professional cheerleader in my mid-20s, I was in the best shape of my life. And I continued that by becoming to a fitness instructor. And still, best shape, best shape, best shape. Would I say now comes with the nutrition? I was okay, but I worked so hard adjusting my body to the foods I was eating that it was fine. So I put in my head that I'm going to be one of those that I'm going to bounce back after having a baby, because my body is just going to, boom, know what to do. I had people telling me, you are going to, when you're pregnant, and you're going to be one of those beautiful ones that just have those cute little baby bumps, and you're just going to lose it fast. You're going to go back into working out. I was like, yeah, I absolutely will do that. So once we had our ducks in a row, my husband and I, we got the farmhouse to where, a partial renovation, but it was enough where we were comfortable. We said, all right, we're ready. So in January 2019, I went off of the birth control, and we started. And, usually when you go off birth control, you lose weight. Not me. Within 2 months, I gained 10 pounds, which had my doctor, my gynecologist, confused. It's like, usually you lose weight. I already was putting on weight and I wasn't even pregnant, and I was scared because I worked so hard to get into shape that I immediately was putting weight on, and it was already negatively affecting my brain. And there you go. Hormones are already out of balance. So in March 2019, I called my gynecologist I still wasn't pregnant. So she's like, we'll bring you in, we'll do an ultrasound, just want to make sure that everything is okay. That was about, I would say, 2-3 weeks. After I called, we went for the ultrasound and the technician was there. And I would say probably the day before, I took another pregnancy test and it said I was pregnant. And I'm like, cool, look at that. I'll just keep my appointment. So I went there and the technician, she said the same thing. She's like, you're pregnant. And I'm like, I just took the test. She's like, well, why are you here? And I'm like, we just wanted to make sure, so I just kept the appointment. So again, there's another negative thing going into my head. Now I'm like, I didn't know, I just kept the appointment. So, and now I'm like, I'm confused about what's going on. This is not a good start with this doctor's office. I've never had to see this technician. It's always been my doctor, which I love my doctor. So, we kind of just move on. We get to the certain points. My husband and I told our family we were pregnant. It's not those types of things where we were like, woo, we're pregnant, let's have a party. We're just like, okay, now it's confirmed. Now we continue moving forward. That's just how we are. So next we started the appointments. And this is where you get your first full blood work. And this is not your normal blood work that you would do, every year with the family doctor. They dig deeper. And what they found was that my platelets were low. And I don't even know what platelets were, to be honest, because it's not something you typically get in your doctor's appointment. So I heard it's not uncommon to have low platelets, but it's scary. Why is it scary? Because you got to go to a hematologist. So when I looked it up, I'm like, oh my gosh, people go there for cancer. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, I am starting to get terrified. And I had to do this every single month. I had to get my blood drawn and get this test done every single month. And this had me so worried because I've never had issues with blood work. This was just a test that I've never had to do before. So kind of going through it throughout my pregnancy, I never had morning sickness. My skin stayed pretty much the same. I didn't really have any breakouts or any weird things happening, no cravings. The only food I couldn't eat was honestly avocado. And I was really disappointed because I came to like that because it was a healthy fat. So yeah, there was that. But honestly, when it came to nutrition, I really had no idea what I was doing. Because before I was pregnant, my body adjusted itself to the food that I was eating. I was exercising and teaching classes probably about 3, 4, 5 times a week. So I became accustomed to that diet. I did not know how to change my diet. When you're pregnant, you're not really giving guidance on nutrition. You're giving guidance on kind of watch your exercise, do this, but I kind of feel with our system that you go to a gynecologist to do all this testing, go for these appointments, you really should see a nutritionist so they can also look at your blood work, look at your hormone level, and kind of guide your nutrition with you. I think that's a part of our system that's broken, and I kind of wish it would actually help us because it would probably help a lot of ladies postpartum. So in June 2019, we went to the NASCAR race with my husband's family up in Michigan. It's something that we love to do all the time when they had it up there. I was still able to wear a lot of my pre-pregnancy clothes or a size up. And my sister-in-law, she just had a baby 2 months ago. She would always say, you're gonna be one of those skinny pregnant girls. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I want. Next month, we announced to our friends that we're pregnant. I really don't remember much because we did it on our July 4th bonfire party with fireworks. I was just mad because I couldn't drink and I couldn't eat queso. That's reality. I really like my queso and I couldn't eat it because you can't eat those soft cheeses. So in August 2019, we continued with the doctor's appointments. My platelets were still low. We were still monitoring them. I just hated how I looked in pictures. And that is my thing to tell you. Just take the pictures. I probably have 3 pictures when I was pregnant because I despised how I looked. You're starting to get a little puffier, your face is getting wider. And, as women, we're shown on TV, in television, in magazines, this is how an ideal pregnant woman should look. That is not reality. Your body is going through changes, and a lot of times you can't control those changes. A lot of times, I had heck of a time finding pregnancy clothes. And that's another thing. I wish I had the guidance there to be like, shop here, shop here. Kohl's was horrible. I'm a very tall person, so finding jeans that are long enough and pregnant jeans, I hated them. Target didn't have anything. I ended up, I think, with Old Navy. I had maybe 2 pairs of jeans, 2 shirts, 3 sweaters. That's it. I tried to just go with bigger t-shirts. Like I said, this is my story, and these are the struggles that I went through, and I want to make sure that, you have somebody here to talk to. But at the same time, that was the problem, is that I had in my head, I'm going to grow my baby bump out because that is what everybody said that would happen. No, I didn't grow that. I went out to the sides. And when I say out to the sides, it was not an enjoyable out to the sides. Yeah, you're always going to get that bump, but I went out and I'm like, oh my gosh, I look horrible. But I just carried on. I continued teaching my fitness classes, and I felt if I had any control, it was with my fitness. I had to write my notes because there's just so much. So going into September, October 2019, heading into the 2nd and 3rd trimester, the good thing was I was negative for gestational diabetes. So I'm like, yes. And by the way, I liked that drink, that sugary drink. I think that a lot of people don't like. I actually enjoyed that drink. So side note, some people, you will like that drink. But this is when it completely changed. Stress level went right up. And when you are stressed, 1, it will add weight, and 2, it is no good for a pregnancy. So that is when my manager at my job retired. And I also worked in a factory. I was a quality supervisor. So when you work in a factory, it's 24/7, you're go, 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 go. So my manager retired. Another quality corporate girl, she quit, went to another company. And then our sanitation supervisor, she got married, and then she went away for her honeymoon. So here I am due in January. It is October. And I am handling 3 jobs. That is something that when you're pregnant, you should not have the stress of that put on you. And it was put on me. I found myself doing all those 3 jobs, having to prioritize, working 12-hour days, teaching 3 fitness classes a week. So what did I have to do? I had to do exactly what you shouldn't do. I had to stop one of my fitness classes in order to save my energy to go to a job that made me stressful. And let you know, that put weight on me. All of a sudden, my weight started shooting up. I was exhausted. And within that, my hematologist also said if my platelets get too low to give birth, I would have to go under anesthesia. Chances were slim, but that was possible. How scary is that when someone tells you that? So in November at work, they hired a new manager, turned into an epic disaster. She kept on saying, I want you to make sure you take care of yourself, take care of the baby. She was a mama too. But yet she had me working 12-hour days, started working every weekend, 12 to 14-hour days. I literally had no life. How is this taking care of yourself? And it's not like I can quit my job when I'm pregnant. And plus this company had really, really good health insurance, and I needed that. Okay, so now you start going to your more frequent doctor's appointments. They start turning into every 2 weeks. Now my blood pressure started going up constantly. My family has a history of high blood pressure, and when you get further along in your pregnancy, especially with the extra weight, it's not uncommon for your blood pressure to go up. It's putting stress on your body. But this is something we had to monitor because you don't want it to turn into preeclampsia. So I told my doctor what I was doing at work. I heard of doctors, doing hour restrictions, so I asked, but mine in particular would not give hour restrictions. What she did is she gave a restriction to not climb ladders and make sure you take a 15-minute break every few hours. That is pathetic. I am salary. It doesn't work like that. You don't get breaks when you're salary. If you complete a task, that's your break. So this was honestly just made no sense whatsoever. So I'm just going to add this into, I had a baby shower that was already planned with family coming from out of town, and my new boss, I had to figure out how to cover that for the weekend. She said I had to find somebody. I think you're my manager. You're the one that came in here. I already had this scheduled. I wasn't working weekends, and this is my baby shower. So couldn't find anybody, added in the stress. So I went to the plant manager, and I'm gonna let you know, you can go to a higher up, because what companies don't want is they don't want a pregnant person getting upset, because then they could end up in a lawsuit, because you have not only the mom, but you have the baby that could be in jeopardy. So I went straight up to the top person at that location, the plant manager, and they covered that shift. So in December 2019, I was in the home stretch. My husband's family finished harvest. They're farmers, but we had no nursery. Nope, nothing. Didn't even think about it. I never read a book on pregnancy. I never took pictures. And like I said, take pictures when you're pregnant. You're gonna wanna look back. No matter how bad you look or how much you love yourself, you want to take pictures. You want those memories. My weekly appointments started that month, and my blood pressure continues to stay high, but honestly, the last month was a blur. Like I said, my son was due early January, mid-December. The doctor sent me to the hospital because if she said my blood pressure didn't come down, I was gonna get induced. We went to the hospital. It took about an hour, 2 hours. My blood pressure went down. We went home. And then the week before Christmas, I was sent back to the hospital for a baby stress test. And mind you, that baby stress test was right on my birthday. So when I went to that hospital, I told them, I said, I don't care what it is. I said, the baby's not gonna be born on my birthday. If anything, that is the control. The only ounce of control I have over this pregnancy is going to be my birthday. And the good thing is that the baby stress test came back fine. Yeah, I'm the one that was stressed, but I figured out a way how to separate that stress from it not affecting the baby. And those are things you're gonna learn when you're pregnant, is that being able to do that separation, because believe me, when that baby's born and into those toddler years, you're going to be remembering how to separate that stress level. So 2 days later, I had my last doctor's appointment. The doctor really didn't say much. I asked her if I could go home for Christmas to see my family. It's something we do every year. It's about an hour and a half away. And she said, nope, you're gonna have that baby, so you're gonna have them come here. It was too many appointments with my my blood pressure being high. So they said, you're in the window, you can have the baby. We are going to induce you. Well, guess what? I didn't even have an overnight bag packed. Nope, I did not have any of that stuff. I wasn't prepared. So my husband and I, what did we decide to do? Well, we don't want hospital food, we need to eat. So I'm gonna go home to Arby's. Went to Arby's and had chocolate pudding when I got home and packed the bag, went to the hospital, and they go to do an ultrasound and the baby's breech. I mean, how long was he breached for? I never knew anything about this. Nothing. It just seems so frustrating, because during those appointments before, they wouldn't say anything about the baby's in a good position. I know you can't get ultrasounds too often when you're getting near the home stretch, but this just came out of the blue, completely out of the blue. So all the times that I thought the baby was moving here, could have been its foot, apparently it was the baby's head. Awesome, right? I was just so frustrated. I told them, give me that epidural, give me all the drugs, just get him out. I just want to be done with this process. That is not how you want your pregnancy journey to be, but that is where I was at in my life. So I had to get 2 spinal taps for that epidural, because guess what? The first one just didn't get in the right spot. So let's add 2 upon there. But honestly, I wasn't scared. I mentally just told in my head, we're gonna get the baby out, keep your stress down. I like to almost consider it was like a dance audition, because I knew there was an end point, and I knew it wasn't going to take a very long time, because you cannot be under long. Once that spinal tap, once those drugs go into your body, you're going to be feeling numb. Right at the very end, it's going to go right over your chest. So they're asking you, can you breathe? That's when the baby comes out. It all happens simultaneously. And the one thing I remember is this wasn't my actual gynecologist, my doctor. It was part of the practice. She was the one that was on call in the hospital, and I just remember a lot of tugging. My husband was there too, and that's what the doctor said. He's like, he does not want to come out. Tugging. He finally comes out. We have a boy. We are done. I just wanted to share my story with you because when I went into my pregnancy, we have our own story. Your story is not going to be like anybody else's. You are going to be going through different experiences. I want you to find the support. So please let me know, was this helpful? It's scary, but it's so rewarding at the same time. But I just want you, remember, capture those pictures. Who cares what you look like? You're going to want those memories. You're going to be scared. But at the same time, there is an end point. You are going to respect the journey after it's done years later. Mine ended up being a C-section. I'm going to go into that in later videos, kind of the healing, kind of how you get your body back in check. But one other thing is read about nutrition. There is nothing wrong talking to your gynecologist about some of your blood work. What should you be eating? What should you not be eating? And I want to kind of go forwards with some of the nutrition that I learned just to help with guidance, because these are things I did not have. I did not receive any guidance in this area. I just went along with what I always did, which is not what you want to do. Especially if you start to see how your body reacts to pregnancy, you need to change things. Thank you so much for joining me. This is a workout channel, but I developed this workout channel from my pregnancy. So I hope you got something out of this, and I will talk to you later. Bye.